Yeah, it's podcast time, everybody. Almost an Agreement at gmail.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and YouTube. We go on the website, almostagreement.com. Right there, check out nothing particular, just, check out the website. That's what it's there for. You'll be checked out. We're on your favorite podcast provider. We're on your generic socials. You should like, friend, follow, share, text it to your friends. Do what you can do to support the show. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And we hope you stick around for the ride. I'm going to talk about some stuff. Another busy week in the hot hell that has become East Tennessee this week. So, intro, song, and then show. Here we go. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's new with you?
Oh, not much.
Nothing new, nothing exciting?
No, nothing exciting.
Nothing. Got some Mayor Jacobs.
People would run up to me and say, where's your masks? This is before the mask mandates. And I asked them, wait, aren't we supposed to be 6 feet apart? This is very early on in the pandemic. So why isn't Dr. Fear, Mr. Fauci himself, not in prison yet? Why should he be? And is there any legal ramifications that Americans have against someone who perpetuated so much falsehood and so much non-scientific so-called evidence against the American people?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I don't think it's completely finished yet. When you look at President Biden's preemptive pardons, they were done by autopen, so we don't even know if those are valid or not. And the fact that
this is the next senator from the great state of Tennessee. You know that, right?
We all know those fiery standoffs that he had with Rand Paul, and everything that Rand was saying turned out to be correct. Everything that Fauci was saying turned out to be a lie. Fauci was saying these are not gain of function. It was obviously gain of function. The U.S. was actually funding research in an adversarial country that ended up causing potentially.
I know, I'm done. Whatever. I had no intent of doing that. I was just scrolling Facebook while the intro was playing out, and that just popped up. And I said, "Let's see what we're talking about." We're talking about the pandemic, and we're back on talking about Fauci and the pandemic because we're not talking about
release the files.
Yeah, Glenn, you are a good warrior for the party. Good job, buddy. Get out there. Get on RSBN. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the RSBN news.
Seems like right side broadcast network.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, but they're out there talking about the important things, like whether or not we should throw Fauci in jail. I know Obama's been threatened to get arrested as of late. I know we're talking about the MLK files getting released, which I'm curious. I would like to see those. I haven't seen any significant reporting on them yet.
But I know some of his family wasn't too happy about it. Like his direct descendants weren't thrilled about it. I think they were given a heads up and preemptively given the file to kind of read over. And
what was in there for them to get mad about?
I'm not sure. Because some of it I think was just FBI files. Because I think it was.
I think
it was reported they had been tailing him and notating him for years.
Right.
I think there were rumors that he might have been cheating on his wife at some point.
Not rumors. There's the fact.
Oh, I don't know.
The FBI. Read the file? The FBI has tapes of phone calls with his mistress. And I think they have some photographic evidence of the affair.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I don't believe that was. I don't believe that. I could be wholly wrong, but I do not believe that is in that. I think that is past the rumor game. That is a true part of history that happened. Because that was what. Remember, I was talking about the FUBAR show and the poison pen letters,
right?
Because the FBI was tapping his phones and all that kind of stuff, found out about the affair, and then wrote him a letter in the voice of somebody who was part of the movement kind of thing about how he should kill himself. Like, Mr. King, you should kill yourself because you're not living up to your values having an affair and whatever. It was supposed to be one of his followers had found out that he was having the affair. And it was the disappointed letter from them that they just made up they didn't make up the affair part of it, but they made up this person whole cloth that was encouraging him to kill himself on his way to Switzerland or whatever, Sweden, to get his Nobel Peace Prize.
Gotcha.
That was what that whole story was about. So I don't think I believe that is a known. That I think that's a known piece of history.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, and again, it's not. I could see it from the family's perspective. I don't know. I don't. I'm not as big in the MLK thing as maybe the JFK assassination or some of the other more conspiracy prone events of our history. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a bunch of conspiracy stuff that goes around the MLK one. I'm just not familiar with those as much. And so I could see from the family's perspective some level of like, we're moving on, please. We're past this. You release these files, especially some of the details might re-up some of this crazy shit, and I'm going to get a bunch of interview requests. I'm going to have to tell people about my dad did this or didn't do that and whatever, and I'm going to have to do it all over again, and I don't want to do it.
Right.
I could respect that. But at the same time, our United States Police Department was spying on a U.S. citizen because he was an activist for civil rights.
Right.
And that's the only reason any of this information exists, because they were completely just not bothering with, that whole like right of the people and warrants and all those kind of important things that are supposed to be part of the process. So sucks for the family. I'm not saying that, but anyway, the point of all that was that we just did it too. We just got distracted from the Epstein files by talking about MLK. And I texted you a couple weeks ago. And do you remember what the tenor of my text was? It was something like, "Did I have a stroke?" Because I feel like I was explaining this to Scott today before we didn't talk about it on the show, but before we were taping, we were talking about it a little bit. And I said, like, have you ever been like watching a movie that's like a really intricate and really detail oriented movie, and there's a bunch of stuff going on, and you're really focused on it, and you got to pee, and you're going to have to pee, and you're not going to make it to the end of the movie. So you go pee, and you come back and you finish the movie, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Because
you missed that one segment. And I feel like while I was on vacation, I missed that one segment that made this transition into the Epstein file craziness make sense. Like there's something, like I feel like I skipped a whole chapter in whatever book this is we're reading right now. And I'm really confused. Because everything that we're talking about is stuff I thought we already knew. We knew that him and Epstein were friends. We knew that he'd been on Epstein's jet a bunch of times. We knew he was down at the island a handful of times. The letter's kind of fun, I guess. I don't know. Did you see the actual copy of it? Have you seen the?
No, I just heard descriptions.
Yeah, the photo of it. It's pretty. It's not.
But he said he's never written any pictures.
He said he doodles. He says he's acknowledged his doodles, but his doodles never include the naked woman.
No.
I've had different people, different podcasts I listen to have been talking about it. It's like, and some of it I could kind of get I can get the argument that this might be a little bit of a hoax kind of thing, because it doesn't sound like him. Like in the text, it doesn't really sound like him. And it's like, okay, I guess. But this is also him 30 years ago, right, versus the him we're used to over the last decade.
That could be cooked up Trump.
Right. It could be cooked up Trump. It could be, not cooked up Trump. It could be whatever version of Trump as a human being was.
Diet cooked up.
With real sugar. There's another one of the list of things that we're just getting distracted on. Yeah. Coke with real sugar, everybody. Congratulations, Shake Shack. But it's like I don't like at this point, like I'm really like, I understand that like part of the Trump thing, like part of the thing was he was promised he was going to try to release the files or whatever. But like, I don't understand what kicked it off. Like what happened that all of a sudden this was a huge story? Because this was before the letter.
The Justice Department released a letter on I think it was like the Sunday of the 4th of July weekend, saying that they're closing the case. Yeah, I think that was when they were saying that there was nothing there. I don't know if they announced they weren't going to release anything, but I think they said that they weren't going to continue the investigation. There wasn't anything to look into. That there wasn't a client list, basically, I think was in that letter.
Right, I did hear that, but I don't know. That's some grammar police bullshit. Okay, there isn't a page in the 10,000 documents. There isn't one page that says number 1, Donald Trump, number 2, Bill Clinton, number 3, whatever. There isn't a list. Okay, but there is 10,000 pages of people. That's your list. All those different people. Just because there isn't he didn't have a little black book that he had his list of friends that are pedophiles in it, doesn't mean there isn't a list. You might have to make the list because it's all out there in the documents.
Right.
So just because it isn't in list form doesn't mean the list doesn't exist.
I've heard parts of the quote unquote black book that got released. I think thought I even saw like it got auctioned off and somebody bought it and ended up like releasing a bunch of what was in some supposed black book. But
the birthday book or the black book?
The black book.
I don't know.
But that could be another false story.
That feels kind of farcical to me. But again, like, I mean, I would think if I, like, you know, because if I'm Epstein and whatever the motivating factor of whatever it is the fuck I'm doing right here, like if it's just a wealth and fame thing that I'm playing the game with, and I want to be wealthy and I want to hobnob with the richest people, and it turns into a blackmail thing, which is kind of one of the theories, at least, that was what it was, is like he had the level of dirt on people that if you say, hey, I need you to take care of this for me, they do it because they would rather do a bad deed for you than you go public with some dirt they have on you.
Right.
Like I can like if that was what was happening, you know, okay, but if I'm Epstein and that's what I'm doing, I'm not going to have like a file in my filing cabinet that's Donald Trump's file and here's all my dirt on Donald Trump. This is the Bill Clinton file and here's all my dirt on Bill Clinton. Like it's like that's not how you would. I don't think that was how you would do that as the mastermind of this fraud scheme or whatever you want to call it that he's doing. I don't think that's how I would do it. I would have that evidence or whatever proof I have to hold over your head, and I would have it somewhere, but I wouldn't have it listed all together with every other person's stuff. I'd have the Trump file in one office. I'd have the Clinton file in another one. I think the smart thing to do would be to spread them out if you got them. Because if one of your buildings or offices or homes or something like that gets raided because of whatever, you only have 1-2 things in there. You have all your other ones somewhere else to keep your leverage.
Yeah, I don't know what is supposedly in the files or whatever.
Well, like apparently there's a whole Mossad connection that's the Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was in Mossad.
Allegedly, yeah.
And thank you for the legal correction. Allegedly, I need to use that term more often so I don't get sued by Donald Trump because apparently that's what happens.
I don't think it's ever gotten confirmed, but I think I saw a story that whenever he passed, he was given like a state burial in Israel.
Yeah.
So that kind of led people to believe he had some kind of connections or.
He had some, right, to have that kind of. Yeah. Anyway, you know, and so like that could be the invert. That could be the reality. Like if you really think about it, you have this guy that's hobnobbing with the richest and most powerful people in America and the world, and collecting dirt on them. I mean, that sounds like, you know, some pretty good CIA spook material.
I guess at that point he's probably been out of it for a while.
Her dad, yeah, but
right.
Her and Epstein working together, maybe for her dad for a while.
Just because your dad was a spy, I mean.
Agreed.
Most high level spies, like you never tell your family, period. Like unless like on like your deathbed, etc.
Stuart Copeland's dad was a spy. Did you hear that story? It's pretty neat.
No.
Yeah. He has. There's an interview with him. He talks about he was a spy. His dad was part of the overthrow of the Egyptian. I can't remember in the back Arab Spring era stuff. His dad was part of that as far as the stirring up the shit to get the Egyptian civil war to get rid of whatever leader, and so the U.S. could put in who they wanted. Like his dad was part of that, and so he was talking like his interview talking about it. And it's like he's like I was just a lanky white American kid in Egypt, but in an American school, and then like we had these other like kids and stuff that I knew who's in hindsight like I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't realize it till much later or whatever. But he's like one of his good friends from school or whatever his dad just disappeared one day.
Yeah,
we didn't know what was going on, and he was from like Romania or something like that. So they think the KGB took him back or took him out, and so his dad just disappeared. And he's like, I didn't realize that was a thing or something I had to think about until I was much older, and my dad was retired, and everything had kind of gone under the wayside by then, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
and how lucky he was to go through all that thing.
I still remember a funny story of a woman I dated years ago. Her grandfather was apparently in the CIA, but also, couldn't tell his family until years later. He was still alive when his family did find out, but it was his grandson, I guess, that they figured out he was in Southeast Asia around like Vietnam era, and apparently was training guerrillas, but her brother basically didn't understand like the actual term guerrilla. He's like, why are they training guerrillas? They're like, no, not that kind of guerrillas.
That's funny. Oh. Speaking of, yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. Like I said, I'm confused on the chapter that exploded this story back into the forefront, and I'm flabbergasted. Like, I feel like
I think that's what really like set it off was basically Justice Department basically kind of being like, there's no there, and
right, low key
we're not going to investigate
this
anymore.
thing we promised you.
Right. Well, we've been saying it for months. had all these social media influencers come to the White House, and we gave them a white binder to parade out in front of everybody.
Well, it was also but part of it was like, it was Trump. Trump was saying, "I'm going to release it because all the Democrats that are in there," which, Clinton being one of them or whatever, and it's going to make the Democrats look bad. And so, I don't know. It's just like it is a PR. It's a narrative PR nightmare that they walked themselves into, and have now done the worst job navigating the exit of. And for whatever reason, thankfully, this one, the American people aren't falling for the distraction games anymore.
Yeah, I think I saw some poll that was done. It was like 2% of those people polled thought that they were handling this well, basically.
Yeah, I mean, because at this point, what's the logical conclusion? There's only one logical conclusion. If you're not going to release the files, why not? I guess there's two logical conclusions. It's either you're in it and it's just completely detrimental to an unexcusable level that you're going to get chased out with pitchforks and stuff like that, or there's other people in it that are important enough that if you let their names get out, you're going to get you're going to end up in a parade in Dallas in the grassy knoll and all that kind of crap. Like that's the only logical explanation at this point. Like there's no logically speaking, we promised you we were going to release these files. We have these files. We have the ability to release them. We told you there's nothing there. You don't believe us. The only way to show the proof that there's nothing there is to show you the proof. And the only reason you wouldn't show the proof is if you're in it, which we already know he's in it, but how badly he looks in the files, or there's other people in the files that have enough dick to swing that he's afraid to let their names out.
Yeah.
And those people do exist. There are people that Trump is afraid of out there in the ether. He's really mad at Rupert Murdoch for not shutting Fox News up or Fox up.
Oh, the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, that one. Thank you. Allegedly. Sorry. Which kudos. We'll see if the Wall Street Journal sacks up and doesn't settle in the lawsuit.
I think they also reported a couple days ago that apparently the Justice Department came to Trump and told him that he was in the files.
And then with it, and it was within 48 hours of that meeting that he was asked publicly about it and said, no, I don't know. Nobody told me anything about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fascinating to me that I don't know, the only other thing, there's nothing else that makes sense. Just completely speculative.
Brewing a big pot of stew and be like, no, there's nothing to eat. It's what have you been cooking for this long?
It's not even that. Okay, fine. It's just bad. If there's nothing, but that's just it. It's okay, we went through it. We dug through all 10,000 pages of it. We took 100 FBI agents off their assignment and stuck them in an office and made them all read all 10,000 pages 4 times each. And there was just nothing there. Okay, then put it out. I mean, it's that simple.
Right.
And so the only, I help me, give me your interpretation. What other logical reason would you not release it if there's truly nothing there? And why would you announce that there's nothing there on the July 6th on the weekend when you're hoping nobody's paying attention?
I don't know. Maybe there's only just niblets of information in it that would lead people to, it's probably more like a 4D thing, but it's just so open to interpretation that nobody would get a clear picture of it. I don't know.
But I mean, how is that any better than the situation you're in?
It's not.
That's what I'm saying.
But I guess maybe it would lead down more rabbit holes of people just kind of making a mountain out of a molehill of different things.
I mean, but it's Trump. That's his existence. The media hates him, and they're going to make everything a mountain. So, especially if there's nothing there, and they want to go make a mountain out of the little molehills that are scattered throughout these 10,000 pages, let them go chase their tails. It's probably better for you. Yeah, you got to deal with their stupid questions, and you got to deal with the headlines that are bullshit or whatever, but that's what you do every day anyway. You're Trump.
Sure.
Every headline is, every third headline or whatever is how much of an idiot you are, if not more than that. And it's I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I cannot, for the life of me.
Maybe they would just prefer the story to just die down. They're like, shit, we should have never been stirring this up.
Yeah, but again, you can't, that ship has sailed.
Right.
You have tried every trick in the Trump book to, look over there. Hey, look over there. And everybody's like, yeah, but we're still over here. We still want the answer to this one. It's not working. Throw Obama in jail. Release the MLK files. talk about real sugar in our soda again. Red number 6 is banned. I don't know. Again, like I would imagine that whatever this RSNB or whatever it was we were just watching this is their attempt to help try to move the dialogue to some other storyline, and it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah. There was one podcaster, Tim Dillon, apparently sat down with J.D. Vance in the past week or so.
I did hear a little bit about this,
and apparently he told him that all the videos was all just personal porn of his.
Epstein's videos?
Yeah, Epstein's videos.
Okay. I mean, I can't get porn in Tennessee anyway right now, so I'll take Epstein's porn if that's all I can get.
That's one of the arguments that was kind of crazy. They're like, at one point the Justice Department was like, we're not going to release this. This is all just a bunch of kiddie porn. We don't want to re-victimize the victims, which kind of makes sense, but you can blur shit out and leave some of that stuff out of what you release.
Yes, and
instead of just being like, we're not going to release anything.
So right. But that's, I mean, again, I don't know. And again, like, what are we talking kiddie porn? It's just pictures of naked girls that are young? Videos of naked girls dancing that are young?
Don't know.
Persons having sex with young girls? Who are the persons having sex with young girls? Do we need to protect their identity? I wouldn't think so. I just don't. I don't know. I don't buy any. Like the whole thing's. It's again.
I don't think we'll ever have the full story.
I would love to be proven wrong.
Right.
But the only logical conclusion here is that either Trump or somebody that scares Trump is in it.
It'll be interesting to see if she's able to sit down in front of Congress. They have subpoenaed her. The Deputy Attorney General, I think, just had like a day-and-a-half long meeting with her yesterday and today.
Well,
which seems kind of odd because that's Trump's former personal lawyer is the deputy.
Old Timmy Burchett was one of the few Republicans that is still on it and wants to see it.
Did see
and
that.
They instead of getting it out of whatever subcommittee Burchett and some others voted on it to subpoena her for whatever they were working on to get to the House floor, they just went ahead and shut down 2 weeks early for summer break,
something like that.
Which again, like that in of itself, like again,
and I think when they get back, they've got another budget battle.
Right, but let's just add fuel to the fire here. Of it is that big a deal that we're not allowed to talk about this. That all other political government operations have to stop.
I think even Speaker Johnson came out and said that they should have access to the files, or they should release some of the files.
But he won't let it get on the floor because you need to let the executive branch give them some space to do what they need to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what his reasoning was.
I don't know. From the smell test gives me a big old pile of bullshit is what's happening right now.
It does smell kind of stinky.
So we want this to go away, and maybe if we take 3 weeks off, take an extra 2 weeks off from our how long is the rest of their break? 6 weeks?
No idea.
We're just going to take an extra 2 or 3 weeks off to spend more time with our constituents. Which they're going
to hear about it if they do have any kind of public meetings.
Well, which apparently has given Marsha Blackburn enough time to dig through the language changes that are happening at the state universities in Tennessee. Did you hear about that one?
No.
Marcia has written a letter to I can't remember who she wrote the letter to, but basically says Vanderbilt, UT, the University of Tennessee system, Vanderbilt, and one other Tennessee university is still doing DEI. They're just using different words.
Okay.
She got a undercover video of a meeting from a trustees backroom meeting of UT or Vanderbilt trustees, where instead of diversity inclusion, it's like access and something or whatever was the words they were using. So it's like, the universities probably have some pretty good thesauruses in their libraries. So if they're not allowed to use certain words for a program, but they really want to use the program, they found some other words that encapsulate the idea of the program and are moving forward. And so she's trying to get some federal funding pulled from some Tennessee state schools. She's your next governor too, everybody. That's your next governor. She has a couple days off on the Hill because the House shut down, so the Senate doesn't have to work either. She spends that time trying to get money out of the universities.
I think Trump just signed an executive order that has to do with like the NIL. That's trying to, I guess, maybe put some kind of restraints on the quote unquote pay to play.
I don't know.
That it's Supposedly it's supposed to try to, I mean, it almost kind of sounds like a good thing, but they're trying to help out some of the smaller, anything that's not football and basketball, trying to keep the other sports from being underfunded. Because that then goes on.
You still have Title IX and stuff. So if you have any program that's any good, you have to have at least a female equivalent number of students getting scholarships. You can't, the NIL, you can't force people to pay them.
Right.
But at least the scholarships and the access and, you got to have a program. So if you have, if you're like a Xavier or something like that, that's a basketball school, that's all you really have sports wise, at least on the grand picture. Xavier is in Cincinnati, by the way, if anybody was curious. Like Xavier has a basketball program. That's a good basketball program. Like that number of scholarships has to be available to females on campus. And so they have to have some females athletics that are worthwhile.
Right. I mean like the other sports, like smaller sports, basically. I guess in their logic, some of those sports are also Olympic sports. So then you're kind of hindering America's ability to go and do well on the international stage.
I don't know. Like,
I like the Olympics. See some of it. I mean, I'm sure we'll see some schools that. I mean, you've seen it somewhat in the past. Of, I can't think of like a really small sport. Maybe something like the random track and fields, maybe cutting some of those out.
Well, I mean, not a small sports school, but like University of Oregon has one of the best track teams year in and year out, both girls and boys track at Oregon. They have a good football program too, and a decent basketball team. I'm sure they have a girls basketball team and softball and other stuff too.
Right. But I mean, hockey or UT has a hockey team apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if funding starts getting tight that they just kind of cut maybe that if it's not making them enough money.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, what's a stupid question. You're going to get angry at it, but it's like, what's the point of UT hockey? What's the point of, like they're like, even with your initial kind of, like our Olympic abilities, there's no UT student that's playing hockey at UT that's going to play Olympic hockey.
Right.
That's just not that. If you're playing hockey, if you're an Olympic level hockey player, you're going to go to a school that has a real hockey program.
True.
And so, but again, that's not even the point I want to pick across. So it's like, but like, I appreciate the premise of intramurals and I appreciate the premise of athletics and what it can do for a student, both getting students out of, like, I doubt UT has any scholarship hockey players.
Probably not.
And so it's not like the hockey program is helping these students get to school. They got to school anyway and they just play hockey on the side. And so it's like, I don't know what's it like. Yes, sport is important and sport is good for mental and physical health and, friendships and camaraderie and lifetime, lifetime colleagues as they move on to all their bigger and better things. They will always have this group of people that they did this thing with, and that's important. But at the same time, if it didn't happen, what's the downside? Like, if you really, 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 really want to play hockey and you go to UT, I'm sure there's adult league stuff out at Cool Sports that you could get into.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it's a little harder to access, I guess, because you got to get all the way out to Watt Road or whatever.
I'll just use that as an example of
I'm just trying to think
local school that has, a sport that they have as part of their program or as part of their sports collective.
But I know. I'm just trying to. I'm picking apart the specific. I'm just trying to think of the rationale for why it's important that funding that goes to this school gets diverted into a sports program that has no real end other than the community aspect of sport. Like, what is the upside to the UT hockey program? It's cool. It's fun. The kids that play it enjoy it. Random kids. I
mean, you're probably not going to the pros, but you could still be a semi-pro.
The totality of the time I was at UT, I didn't know we had a UT hockey team. I would have gone to, I don't know where they play their games. I actually think they play their games out at Cool Sports, to be honest with you.
Possibly, I'm not sure.
And so it's like, I don't know what's the point. Like, I don't know. I'm not even sure why I'm picking this apart so much. I don't quite understand the argument that it is important that we have every fucking sport available to students.
Well, every sport, I guess. I would worry about the cascading effect. And I thought about it when the NIL deal passed, or bill, whatever it was.
But I mean, hell, it's a good life lesson. If you're really good at pole vaulting, awesome. You're never going to make any money off of it.
Not necessarily.
Name a pole vaulter. Just one.
I couldn't. But I'm also way out of the loop of that. I'd say people that are more into track and field could probably name.
There might be a. I mean, yes, like there might be
even athletes at that level, get sponsorships if they're going to like U.S. national track meets and whatnot.
Right. They might They might help them fund their stuff. They might get free cleats or shoes and uniforms and stuff like that.
Right.
But they might get poles provided if we're going to stick with pole vaulting or whatever. And if they're ridiculously good at pole vaulting, the next round of Olympics they might be on some commentation team. NBC might hire them to be their expert, so that they actually sound like so they're on the field or they're talking to the actual commentators and making sure these commentators are using the right language and lingo and stuff like that. There are some very obscure auxiliary careers that could go along with a quality.
Go back into being a coach or a teacher in like sports programs at universities. They're like, hey, I was a former Olympian.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's at the same time that in and of itself, I think, is maybe a broader topic that we don't have to discuss now. But like, there is, I do take a little bit of exception to the idea of taking classes in something that the only profession you can do from learning the something is to be the teacher of the next class.
I think it's the only option they have.
I mean, there's different. Like, I'm trying to think of a different example of it. There was the kid that was that had worked for us for a minute, who was the heteronormative geology major. I think that's what it was called. I think that's what they told me it was.
I don't know.
And I was trying to figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, are we talking about like peninsula uses the prefix PEN, which is penis? And that we're trying to figure out new words to use for these things because they're, they're heteronormative and whatever. And like geography does. I don't know. This was an argument I got with them, and maybe I don't remember geography well enough. I know social studies. Geography is usually part of your social studies classes.
Yeah.
And part of social studies tends to be demographics, culture, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way this person described the major to me is it was more about demographics and whatever, which is like, okay, I didn't think that was geology or geography. I thought that was sociology or societal.
It's something you could study and then look at the differences geographically.
And so then I of course I go, okay, well, you have that major, you have graduated with said major, you're working as a day bartender for me. What career does this major move towards? And the answer was I could teach it, or there's a little bit of like random consulting stuff that you could do maybe in politics where you have, because of your knowledge of the demographics of a certain location, you can help, strategize with certain. I mean, you could do some different, like very niche consulting on strategies. It could be for business or politics, like, a restaurant change is looking at a particular neighborhood, and you could consult with them on whether that neighborhood makes sense because of the culture of your business and the culture of that neighborhood. Do they mesh? Is the demographic of that neighborhood one that would be, or do you do a modified version of it? Like apparently McDonald's has a whole Starbucks subline that they opened up. Cosmic. COSMC.
I think I remember hearing some years ago about some kind of like McDonald's coffee place.
They opened like 100 and something stores that were standalone, and they're now closing all those off, and they're just taking their best of menu and putting it into regular McDonald's. Apparently the beverage market is the future because people are so poor they stopped eating 3 meals a day.
Just drinking shakes.
Literally, I'm watching NBC News last night, and they were talking about that. Literally, it was like it was talking about how the younger demographic is not eating 3 meals a day. Partial, like they alluded to part of that was a budget issue. Mm-hmm. They can't afford to eat 3 meals a day, so they are taking what would have been a lunch and getting a more expensive beverage for lunch than a fucking lunch. That's the world we live in, and McDonald's is on board with it.
Still getting some empty calories.
Well, on the other side, too, is like drinks are stupid margin. Yeah. Huge margin. You've got like nickels and dimes in a drink that they charge $3-5 for.
Right.
And it's like, well, if that's the case, then we should do like $2 drinks. And then the poor people can afford them and enjoy them, and you're still making a fuck ton of money. But I digress.
See, you got us off Epstein again.
Well, I wasn't planning on spending the whole show on
Epstein.
But the Blackburn is pissed off at the UT and Vanderbilt and one other school in the state for continuing to teach DEI or use DEI policies just under different words. Had some more district forums this week locally. Burchett and his released Epstein files statements are great. He does say that at least the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is un-American, hates God. He did say that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Which I've had, like, I think, like when I heard the quote, and I should look up the full quote, but it was basically is that they hate America, they hate patriotism, they hate our patriotism, and they hate our God. And it's like, well, your God, fine, whatever. I don't care if they hate your God or not. Your God is not our God, because our God is not part of this system.
Right, it's not supposed to be.
There's no God that's part of this system by design. So I'm sorry that they hate your God, or that you think they hate your God. That sucks. That has nothing to do with anything. That should not be in your decision-making process. Even if you really believe in that God, it's not part of the process here. You're not allowed to use that as part of the process.
I know Ken Burns put out a statement after the Supreme Court ruled on it. Or no, after the bill passed the House.
Look, I mean, I don't know. It's not a partisanship issue, but there's a part of me that has a little bit of a hesitation. Like, I don't listen to NPR as much. I used to listen to it semi-regularly. Like, I never took it. I think their non-news programming is a little bit more liberal. It's more cultural, which is more liberal by design. Like, it just is. Mm-hmm. I think like Fresh Air and the different news podcast or broadcast parts they do, I thought that was pretty much middle of the road.
Yeah.
From my recollection, I haven't listened to it in a while. One of the I subscribed to their podcast for a minute, and it's their little 2-minute on the hour thing that they do.
Right.
And they release it every fucking hour.
Right.
And it's the same 2-minute one every time.
Yeah, it changed a little bit throughout the day, but
so you're
not wrong.
Right, my podcast feed would have like 7 episodes to listen to, and I'd listen to one. And it was like, okay, cool, great, good to know. And then 30 minutes later, I'd get an update, new release, and I'd click on it, and it's the same exact one.
Right.
And so I undid that one. That was not a great format that they tried to run that on. But but I think the most of the other stuff, yeah, it is liberal. It is left leaning. It's liberal culture, community stuff, and that leans liberal. I don't think that's an unfair statement. Why should the government at large? I don't know. Part of me, should the federal government pay for local cultural programming? I'm okay with them not. Do we have a federal programming culture? I don't know. That's a weirdism.
There's a lot of grants for community,
right? And that's the ones. I mean, that's the ones that some of these smaller rural stations that run them, and that does it are going to really struggle without the funding, because 95% of their funding comes from Corporation for Public Broadcasting instead of having some local sponsors and some local this, that, and the others.
Sure, I think some are 20-30% of their funding, which still
WDVX here in town is 20% of their budget is from CPB.
Yeah,
which is a significant sum. It's a fifth of your budget.
Right.
That's no joke. But again, I'm not trying to support or anti anything here, but it's I don't know. I don't know that it need be a priority for the federal government to support Cookeville's public radio system. Cookeville's local public radio. If we're going to take the PBS or the NPR, the national public radio part of it, okay, a chunk of federal budget going to that, I could see the premise behind it. It's weird. It's weird that it's interesting that a governmentally funded program could be anti-government in a way. It doesn't make any sense. You would think the government would want to have an NPR because they could control it and they could disseminate the way they want to, but it's gotten set up in a way that there is no oversight from
They don't have editorial control.
Right. They have nothing. They only have budgetary actions on it, and so this is what happens. And so I don't know. Like I don't like I enjoyed what's the Ira Glass one? This
American Life.
Like I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And there's a number of different podcasts. Wait, don't tell me is kind of fun.
That is a fun question. I hadn't heard it in a long time. I used to like listening to it on Saturdays.
What's his name from Minnesota who ended up being a perv? But
Charlie Rose.
I don't remember. It was more of
he used to have an interview show.
It was a country. No, it was like a country, not a country music, but like a country storytelling.
Yeah, Perry Home Companion.
Yeah,
yeah.
Those were fun. Kind of weird, interesting.
They were quirky. Yeah.
Whatever. But it's like like I don't know. Like I didn't. I have some Midwest in my background, so like culturally it made some sense to me because that I understood what that was from living in Wisconsin. But like
they did do a lot of like Midwestern jokes,
right? And so it's like
rhubarb pie and stuff.
Right, and so it's like, what does that mean to the South? Like to people in the South? It's like, I don't know. What does that? I don't know. As a public good, does that need to exist with tax dollars? I could get behind either argument. I guess is what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
If
you're for against it.
Well, I mean, if the choice was between we're going to spend $1 million on a new bomber or Prairie Home Companion, I'll take Prairie Home Companion any day of the week. But if it's hey, we're going to make sure that the I-40 bridge doesn't fall into the river out in Memphis.
Right.
We're going to maybe upgrade it to last another 50 years instead of another 5. Spend a little bit more money on that. Maybe I'd take the bridge over Prairie Home Companion. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to prioritize this thing, I can play that game. And no disrespect, I did enjoy the some of their programming, but if we're going to prioritize our tax spend, that's not high on my priority list.
Right.
And so that's where I can get behind it. But again, this is stuff that's getting cut from the budget so we could raise the fucking Pentagon's budget, so I'm not getting what I want either, I guess is the moral of the story here. I could say, okay, let's cut that budget, but before we cut that budget, let's cut this budget. And the big, beautiful bill went exact opposite of what I want.
Right.
We're putting more money into the thing that needs the least, who can't even account for their own fucking money half the time anyway. They can't. It's like they're up to Pentagon's up to like $4 trillion they can't account for over the last decade or something like that.
I can't remember the numbers.
It's something obnoxious.
They failed their audit like 4 out of 5 years on average or something like that.
I don't think they haven't passed it once.
Oh, okay.
They failed it every time they've done it. They can't account for trillions of dollars year in and year out. And nobody's even trying. Like what fascinates me about that one is nobody's even trying to make the argument of it's like, well, that's stuff that we can't talk about.
Right.
Like there is $1 trillion that we spent over here, but like that's some of that. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't talk about what that is, but we spent that money over there. You know what I mean? Wink, wink.
I don't know if it's a danger to let the public and other nations know how much you're spending on your black books stuff, but I don't really care about that either. But like, I don't really care. Like I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it. Like it's just this self-perpetuating mess. And yes, okay, well they're doing it, so we have to do it, and they're doing it, so we have to do it, and they're doing it, so we have to do it. Like at what point do we just be like, well if we stop doing it, are they going to stop doing it? Or are they going to keep doing it, and it still doesn't make a difference? Like, they're doing it. Is it making a difference? Is our doing it stopping them from making a difference? I mean, nuclear nonproliferation, I think, was working when we were doing it in the 70s and 80s.
Right, but that wasn't dark money stuff.
Right.
That was an upfront agreement. We're going to start tearing this stuff down, and we're going to dispose of it, and we're going to watch each other dispose it, and that's cool. Like, yeah. But, I mean, that's just it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, like, the dark stuff is, well, we're doing all this dark stuff. Well, we stop doing the dark stuff. Here's the accounting. The accounting works. We're not losing money over here. Here's your accounting. Like, why would I need to do dark stuff if you're not doing dark stuff? Why can't we be upfront about this stuff?
Because that's just not what nations do with each other.
I don't.
There's always a level of secrecy.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I have problems with whose secrets we decide we have to keep. But no, I don't. I don't know if I do or not. I don't know. Like, what? Okay. I don't know. Like, what's a secret worth keeping in some weird governmental whatever? The nuclear codes. Fair enough. I'll agree with that one. Pass the nuclear codes.
Locations of nuclear missiles. No, by now I think most are semi-public.
Right, like in the Russia, like anybody
I'm sure we've added some more that we haven't really put on the books.
Anybody that matters know where they are anyway, because of their dark programs.
True.
But it's like, okay, well, their dark program figures out what our dark program's doing, so just do it as a light program, and they're going to figure it out anyway. Save the program money. I mean, are we like is a concern of if they built a launch site in Oak Ridge? I mean, Oak Ridge is already on the map for them anyway. That's not a good example. If they build a launch site like between the runways at McGee Tyson, and just announce it and said, "Hey, we're going to build a nuclear silo right here." I mean, the public would freak out and not want to do it or whatever. But like, would the Russians and the Iranians and whoever else spend billions of dollars spying on us building a thing that we told them we're going to build?
Yeah.
I don't know if they... Well, I mean, that's fine if they want to waste their money. You know, we told you we were going to do it. This is what we're doing. You waste your money on that.
I guess there's always a benefit to the nation of knowing what the other nation's capabilities are, or how they're building something.
Not on the nuclear level.
Like how much concrete they're bringing in. So we can estimate how deep it is.
I wholly disagree with that on the nuclear level. On the regular arms level, sure. That's important to know. Like, do the Russians have a supersonic missile? That's important to know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. The number of the number and location of their nukes is irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, they're spread out and there's enough of them that we're not going to get them all before they launch a handful of them. We're fucked. That's the long and short of that story.
All right. I think we have systems set to automatically launch once they detect other launches.
We don't need. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We know they have them. We know they have enough of them that there's no way we can do anything about it preemptively. So
mutually assured destruction.
Russia is off the table. It's just we understand that's off the table. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple math at that point. It's all the other little stuff that is where it gets complicated. I don't know. I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm tired of it. It's stupid. It's a waste of my money. It's a waste of your money. It's not making our lives any better. I don't believe it's making our lives any better. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe deep there, maybe there's a 9/11 that they're stopping every 3 weeks, and we don't know about it because they're doing such a good job. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a fucking heartbeat.
I think there's small level things that do get stopped that don't get brought up. As probably not to direct more fear.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I mean, I don't buy it. I don't buy that there's any plot that they've broken up ever.
I think I've heard of some recently.
That was at least capable.
Terror plots that were stopped.
almostagreement@gmail.com. Please, somebody send me a link of a story and show me I'm wrong. I still don't I still don't know that it justifies the expense. And that's the other side of the coin there too. It's like, okay, fine, we've stopped 2 terror plots at the cost of trillions of dollars.
I don't think it's costing that much.
I don't know. Well, no, because the whole thing...
Probably millions, yes.
Well, no, the billions, but the whole thing has to exist for the whole structure has to exist for us to do this thing. So, yes, at the cost of trillions of dollars in defense spending, because the combined efforts of it. Well, not to mention we could go back the other direction on it. It's like, well, how many terrorists did we create by doing X, Y, or Z over the last 50 years?
True.
You know, and again, I understand the argument of, well, we can't just say we're sorry and they're going to stop hating us. Like, we deserve to be hated by a lot of people around the world.
I think no matter what way an administration goes, you're always going to have enemies elsewhere that don't appreciate what good or bad that you're doing.
Don't appreciate, and to the level of I'm going to fly planes into your buildings. I think there's a level of don't appreciate what you're doing that's a pretty substantial. That I think most people would agree that there were things that could have been done to avoid that. Not in the sense of foiling the plot, but in not creating.
Yeah, that was decades of foreign policy.
I know. That was the cold that was the hottest part. Like the 9/11 was a Cold War remnant. We and Russia played these games with these people. We used these people for games because we were clearly not going to have an open war with each other. And we used these people as fodder for a game and created a lot of people that fucking hate us for it. And that's the Taliban, and that's Bin Laden's thing. That was the whole thing with Bin Laden, is that the Russians came in and used them as a tool, and then we came in and used them as a tool against the Russians.
Right.
And then we just left them in complete and just took whatever they had that was even remotely good and destroyed it all in the process and just said, oh, well, that didn't work. See you guys later.
Have fun with your poppies.
Yeah. That's a weird one, too. That's a recent story on that. Some guy, just watched a video of, was talking about he went over there and was like, why don't you grow, he listed a couple of crops that you could do 2 cycles a year of instead of poppy. And he was talking, he went to talk to farmers about it, and they're like, but the U.S. government told us we could grow poppy, and we make more money off of poppy.
Right.
To which his conclusion on it was, apparently, it was 60 or 80% of the world's heroin supply comes out of Afghanistan, but none of the U.S.'s.
Our supply doesn't come from there?
Ours all comes from Colombia and Mexico and South America and stuff like that.
I thought I saw some ABC or something where somebody was doing, I think it was actually in Mexico, but they were basically doing the helicopter flyovers that they were looking for. And they found marijuana ops, but they found some poppy grow ops that were going on out in the bush out in the sticks of Mexico.
And so the conclusion this guy had come to is that it's in the U.S. best interest for Afghanistan to continue growing and exporting poppy because of that. So if 80% of the world's supply comes out of there and the U.S.'s entire supply doesn't, where does that go? That means it's going to Europe, Asia, and Russia. And so the geopolitical thing is well, as long as if we make sure they keep growing and if they keep exporting heroin from Afghanistan, it's going to Russia and China, and we don't like them, and so we want that heroin to go into those countries. Which, that's some 4D chess shit right there.
I guess to an extent. You're still enriching crime, and possibly, I'm sure there's some money getting handed over to officials and whatnot for bribes.
Sure, but it's over there, and it's fucking with them and their governments and their people and their stuff. It doesn't, the negative effect on us was the how many thousand of our kids died over there for whatever reason we went over there.
I don't remember numbers.
Yeah, that was our negative effect but that wasn't the same. That wasn't why we were there and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, as long as they keep growing heroin and putting it in Russians and Chinese veins, then it's a good thing. Was this guy's
Isn't there a legitimate reason? You get poppy seed stuff. I don't know if there's anything else, any other products you get from a poppy plant.
I don't know. I don't know if you could do morphine and stuff out of that. I don't know if it's the same process. I don't know if it's the basic.
They're closely related.
I know they're super closely related, but I don't know if you could process it into
actual medicinal,
right? Medicinal version of opioids. But so it's the Chinese are importing fentanyl into the U.S., and so we're trying to help import heroin into China. That's really what it seemed like. That was this guy's takeaway. Which
it's possible. I don't know what kind of scale they're actually doing it there.
It's large enough. I don't know.
I guess large enough to feed 2 or 3 continents.
Right, 80% of the world usage of it.
Yeah,
and again, none of it's coming here. I would think, if the U.S. supply of heroin is coming from Central and South America, then Central and South America's supply of heroin is coming from Central and South America. So basically, the Western Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere takes up 20% of the heroin usage in the world. The other 80% is in Europe and Asia and Africa. Too, if we're going to be fair to the Aussies. But, so if 80% of the world's usage is happening in the Western Hemisphere and most of that is coming out of Afghanistan, and we feel like it's a strategic advantage of us to have heroin junkies all over the world, then I get it. Well,
would you advocate an offensive strategy to try to stop that again?
No, I don't care what they're doing over there. I wouldn't protect them. I wouldn't protect them from it or take it away from them. I don't care what we're doing. I think the question, the question mark in that I come to in all this is,
it could be a little bit less of we're just blatantly allowing it versus we're just not going to do anything. Period. We're not going to involve ourselves in it one way or the other.
I would like us to be in the we're not going to involve ourselves camp.
All right. We tried it while we were there, but I think once we left, we were like, all right, whatever.
Right, we're out of here. You do you. But the question, I mean, the reality is, and this goes back to kind of the original point, is the reality here is if this guy's theory is true, there are people in the upper echelons of the U.S. defense system that believe it's in U.S. national best interest to have to destabilize as many other countries around the world as possible through illicit drug use or other. Now, on a pure military tactical strategic thing, I get it. Like, it is better for us if the Russian streets are in chaos, because whoever's leading that country or trying to lead that country is too focused on trying to lead their country than to deal with fucking with us.
Yeah, but I don't know much like drugs really led to a destabilization. I mean, America's had alcohol, drug issues for years, and I wouldn't say it's risen to the level of destabilization.
I agree, but I'm just saying,
it's been a problem, but
right, but it's a problem that adds to problems that add to other problems, and this isn't the only game we're playing and making problems for other people,
right?
And so, but that's the question. The question is, not the question. That's the reality. The reality is that the top levels of U.S. defense believe that it's in the U.S. best interest to foment domestic issues worldwide, because that keeps our leadership in a superior position to their leadership, because their leadership has to be too focused on domestic issues. That's the argument for Russiagate and other stuff too, is that Russia and China and Israel and others are meddling in our political systems and fucking around with our stuff and sending out deepfakes and doing all that kind of crap here to get us fighting with each other instead of focus on one good, natural, whatever end it is that we would be doing for ourselves.
Right.
And like, I can understand strategically why that makes sense. But could we not just not? And just, I don't know. What's the story about, if you're living in a glass house kind of thing?
Those stuff?
Yeah, other stuff like if, don't tell somebody else how to clean their house if your house is dirty. I can't remember. There's a couple of different parables that are at play here. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, clean up your own house, mow your own lawn. We'll clean our house, we'll mow our lawn, and then we'll hang out on the weekends. Whatever. Let's be cool. This is our geopolitical episode, everybody.
If only it were that simple in geopolitics.
I mean, well, the question is, why can't it be? Because we're
just a lot of bad history and literal bad blood between us and other nations.
Which again, but...
And some of those are hard to undo because they're decades in the making.
Sure, but it's one of those, it's like, who's, like... Who, though? Like, really who? Like, I mean, so we were at the 4th of July parade, and one of the floats was Blue Star Moms.
Not familiar.
Basically, I don't remember what Blue Star is. Gold Star? Blue Star?
I know Gold Star families. I couldn't tell you what designates.
I think, I believe it's kids that have died. And it's the mothers of guys that went over to Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever and got killed.
Yeah,
I believe that's what the Blue Star.
Maybe Blue Star is wounded. I don't know.
I don't think Blue Star's wounded.
I don't know.
Or maybe it is. And Gold Star. Either way, whatever. It's like
Right. Maybe Blue Star is just family of people that served. Period.
Well, that makes it different. I don't feel.
Yeah, I don't know.
I felt
guessing.
I felt sad. Like, as a parent, like, I'm like, oh, that's the worst thing ever. Like, I'm conflicted about, celebrating you right now. All right, so we paused for a beer and some research. We're looking up what Blue Star is, so I have the correct answer before I go on my spiel.
See, your Blue Star banners can have 1 star or up to 5, and each Blue Star represents a loved one serving in the military during time of war.
Okay, so
the home with the Blue Star banner means that family is a Blue Star family. It was a Blue Star family.
That means
the Blue Star family, someone is a member who is serving during war.
All right.
They were authorized by the U.S. government to hang the Blue Star banner for their residents for others to see.
I don't know. I have a tough one. One of my kids makes a dumb decision and ends up enlisting and ends up over in the Middle East somewhere because we're at war with Iran or whatever. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know that I would want to do that anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't have
what
to.
am I? But I'm just saying, like, what are you asking for if you're putting that blue star out there? You're asking for recognition that your sacrifice of creating a human being that decided to go do that thing be acknowledged.
There's a few different reasons. I mean, some do it just to show their pride.
Maybe that's one of the things I have a greater issue with. This has nothing to do with military stuff. This new thing, this post-pandemic thing about yard signs.
No.
Like this, like everything gets a yard sign because the kids that like graduated during the pandemic, they didn't get to go do a graduation because of the pandemic.
All right.
And so a lot of different, like, so I think Bearden did it. A couple of high schools locally did it where they gave families a yard sign that says, "My kid's graduating from Bearden High School," because they didn't get to go do the thing. But now it's become normal for everything. And so I got somebody down the street. They have a Samford kid. It's like, what do I do with that? All right, this might be crotchety old man, I'm a hateful person thing, but fuck you, I don't care. Why are you wasting my...
It's not about you. They just want to show how proud they are of their kid. And I guess maybe kind of brag a bit and let everybody else know their kid just graduated from Stanford.
It is about me. For them to brag, it has to be to me. Or to other me's that are driving, passing, walking by.
To the public, you don't need to take it personally.
I do take it personally. I take it very personally. If you're gonna gross up my sight line,
against, like, I mean, we used to have the bumper stickers of, like, my kid was an honor roll student.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like, what do you want? Like, I don't get it. I say that, and we have, like, the kids want us to put the Rocky Hill stickers on their cars, so we have the Rocky Hill stickers on the cars when they were students there.
Right. Maybe they have them for, like, Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
I don't know. I mean, I get it to a degree as a parent to show that you care about your kid, and this is a way for your kids to feel like you care about them. But at the same time, it's like as a kid, like as the recipient of the glory of this thing, it's like, what are you actually feeling good about? You're feeling good because your parents care? Was the fact that your parents told you they were excited about it for you? Was that not enough to care? I don't know. It seems like it feels like to me that it's this offshoot of this clickbait, attention span culture that we have created over the last decade.
Possibly. I mean,
everything's look at me.
Political signs have been an issue for years. I mean, during the first Iraq, or I guess the second Iraq War, you had those no blood for oil signs that became popular against the anti-war. I mean,
that's a protest. That's different. Like, you're saying something. You're saying something to the public that means something. My kids going to Wesleyan doesn't mean anything to anybody, except for Wesleyan because they're getting a check from me.
I'm just saying that it's been something for a while of people putting out whatever they're proud of or whatever out in their yard, and what they're for, what they're against.
Maybe I need to just get a homeowners. I need to move into a new place in the homeowners association. Does away with all this bullshit.
Yeah, good luck. I think you'll.
Oh, I hate a homeowners. I would burn my house down.
Right.
Before I don't like, it's the dumb. I do get it. I get it, and I appreciate it, and I acknowledge it as a thing. If that's the thing you're into, do your thing. Because I'm a libertarian-minded person. If that's what you and your neighbors want to do together, you and your neighbors do that together.
A lot of them, it's like a small group of board members that decide everything.
Yeah, but everybody's on. Like, everybody is in an understanding when it starts.
It's like, this year we're only going to allow people to plant roses. That's it. Only red roses.
But everybody understands that they're agreeing to a thing and that they have the right to be part of it. It's not like the board is some exclusive thing that you're not allowed to enter. There's processes.
No, but they have control over what happens. You can go in there and vote and raise your hand and raise a ruckus all you want, but at the end of the day, that
but you agreed when buying the home that you would act as according to what the board's decision were.
True. And
in that agreement, they acknowledge that you have the right to run for board office and be a part of the system and go through blah 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 and all that. That is a defined contract between people. I have no issue with that.
Right.
Now, I could see the situation where if I was in one and they changed the rules on me and I might lose my shit, which is why I wouldn't put myself in one, because I don't want to be active in that kind of stuff. So asking the older one today, it's like, how much do you want me to be part of this football thing? Do you like, the freshman parent meeting is coming up, which is what it's going to be, their booster clubs. Hey, join us, donate, and help us fundraise and do all this different stuff. Here's all the different job titles that we have. Do you want to do one? I was like, what do you want me to do? Because I can do like we did in Scouts where I'm doing everything. or I can do like we did in when you went from Scout. Well, I can when he transitioned from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts. We had this conversation. I was like, I know that part of what made Scouts less fun is that I was in it.
Right.
Is that all your friends are there and their parents are over on the side talking to each other and they're participating in the thing, where the whole time you're still dealing with me. What's the difference in me being here and me being at home if Dad's being, if I'm in the middle of it all the time anyway.
Right.
And so I flat asked him when we transitioned from Cub to Boy Scouts, it's like, what do you want me to do? I was like, I would enjoy being part of this, and I will take part as much as you want me to. And he says, I would rather have you out. And I was like, all right, I'll be out. Yeah. I'll drop you off. I'll pick you up, and that's that. And then he quit like 2 weeks later anyway. But I asked him the same thing in football. I was like, how much do you want me to do? And he's like, I was like, you want me to do as much as I can that you don't have to see? He's like, yeah, that one. Like, I gave him options.
Right.
And it was like, you want me to be in it? You want me to be on the sideline? You want me to be here? You want me to do blah, blah, blah. You want me to do all this stuff? Do you want me to do nothing and never be around it? Or do you want me to do behind-the-scenes stuff, but I'm never out there in it? And he's like, that one. It's like, okay. When I go to the Booster Club meeting and they're asking for different jobs, I'll look at the different jobs that I can help, and I can put my energy and effort and my skill set to work.
Right.
But I'll stay out of your way.
Like, I'll bring the Gatorade packets.
Well, that's the one I don't want to do.
No.
I mean, we did. We donated all the Gatorade packets we had in the house. We had a bunch of different ones floating around the house from different, like, liquid IVs, all the different versions of them we bought over time,
right?
Just to try. And we had like 50 of them, and so we threw them in a bag, dropped them off.
Good use of them.
Yeah, might as well. And so but I mean, there's stuff like, I was talking to one of the parents the other day, and it's like, look, I own a restaurant. We don't have the means to donate stuff, but we do have wholesale access to stuff. So if we need something for, if we're going to do a burger day or whatever, where we're cooking the kids' burgers, I can at least get us burgers at wholesale cost instead of having to do whatever. Mm-hmm. Which their reply was, they get everything donated from some North Carolina company, some North Carolina butchery. When they do meat stuff, they're doing steak on Monday as part of the camp.
Yeah.
And they've got steaks coming from this butchery in somewhere in North Carolina. But I mean, that being said, former UT quarterback, this was a local news story. I can't remember the list of people, but some quite prominent Knoxville individuals had petitioned Mr. Ryswick for a little sit-down chit-chat about what's going on with Coach Brown, who's now in Maryville.
Yeah, I think I saw that story.
And that list of people included some decently heavy hitter names: the H.T. Hackney family, mm-hmm. Philip Fulmer, a former UT quarterback that was also a former West student, I think. It was like 5 or 6 people that wanted to sit down with Ryswick and talk about it, which Ryswick declined. But like the Hackney family apparently gave like $500,000 over the last couple of years to West High School.
Damn.
Not just athletics, so West High School in general.
Right.
And so in the letter from the lawyer / booster to Ryswick's office, he just kind of mentioned all the money that these people have put into West High School. Wasn't saying they weren't going to continue to put stuff into West High School.
All right, but it's a veiled threat that maybe they would, or they may reconsider how much they donate.
But I mean, like, I don't know. They say annual, like the annual budget apparently for West football is like $200,000.
I don't know if that's a lot comparably.
I don't know what it means to anybody else, but the annual input from Knox County Schools, State of Tennessee, or any other government organization is $0. And so I would say that annual budget is more realistically like $350,000 because they operate off a lot of free shit. So they spend $200,000, but they get, they're getting, there's like 100 kids on the team plus coaching staff. They're going to do a steak dinner for.
Right. Even
butcher shop, even wholesale pricing on 100 steaks is a lot of money.
Right.
Football camp this week is not going to be cheap. I think it's Chick-fil-A every morning for breakfast. Pizza one night. I don't know. They got a whole bunch of shit going on. But I mean, it's an expensive endeavor. Is the moral of the story here. Which that's what it's going to turn into. Which I think I might try to 2 bird 1 stone something. I might try to do a from our conversation last week about the parks. City of Knoxville asking about
input
what to do for parks and get them some more stuff. I might propose to special events that I will do a fundraiser for West High School football at Rocky Hill ball fields. Because that's my solution is they need to do more stuff,
right?
And so I'll get a couple of like mini bands that play cover songs and do whatever. I will hopefully, depending on the time frame of it, if I can get, I don't know, I'm not sure how Wes will feel about it. I'll have to have this conversation with the Booster Club,
probably.
But it's like, if I can have if the Happy Holler Project gets its nonprofit status. It can West High School would be the West High School Boosters would be the nonprofit associated, so we could do a concert festival, street fair thing in Rocky Hill ball fields, sell alcohol, and West can keep the money.
I thought county parks weren't supposed to have any alcohol at.
If you have a nonprofit involved with a special event permit and all sorts of other stuff, you can do whatever you want. No. I mean, it's considered like it's functionally the same. It's doing an event like this in Rocky Hill is theoretically not much different than me doing it in Happy Holler.
Yeah, I guess.
And I changed the ordinance that anywhere in the city you can do alcohol service with the proper permitting. Mm-hmm. So I could do. I mean, it's whether Booster Club would take it because alcohol's involved or not.
All right,
that's the second story. But putting the event on with the program would be just do a street fair, bring a bunch of vendors out, and a concert, and sell alcohol, and collect donations. All that money goes to West High School. I could do that. I could do that in a heartbeat.
Sounds doable.
Sorry, all that money goes to West High School football. Get some Leonard Skinner cover band. It's the West High Rebels. Come on now. I mean, realistically, though, if I was going to do it, I should probably do it at Lakeshore. Which Lakeshore is even easier to do stuff at, like Lakeshore, and actually Rocky Hill. You could like one of the differences in either one of these events that we're discussing right now, and the one I do in Happy Holler, is I could close Rocky Hill, and you have to have a ticket to get in. I could not close. I could close a section of Lakeshore, but right. You have to get a ticket. You have, like we could fence it off, and you have to have a ticket to get in.
Right.
I can't do that in Happy Holler. You can use park space. You can close it and make it a private event. Street space, like public street space, you cannot make it a private event.
But you can rope it off to an extent, but kind of.
I mean, you have to enclose it for security of alcohol services,
right?
And stuff like that. But you cannot deny access to people in a public sidewalk street space. Which we did kick people out for being bums mostly, but we did remove people and tell the people that were working the entryways that these people aren't allowed back in.
Right.
We were allowed to do that to some extent, but we couldn't do it where you have to have you have to pay $20 for a wristband and you have to have the wristband to get through the gate.
Right.
You have to do it open access, which is what I want to do down there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I could do it. Shit. The wife's going to hate me if I put another event on my calendar. At least this one's for the family. And I would take a cut out of it. Get paid. We are working. Happy Holler Project is working to become a nonprofit of its own right, because that's what it is. I mean, realistically, it's not a nonprofit. Talking to my accountant about it, to get tax exempt status is what we're trying to do.
Gotcha.
Nonprofit is a misnomer that we often use in tandem with tax exempt. The Happy Holler Project will be a for-profit company with tax exempt status, much like a church and anywhere else. Mm-hmm. Most of what we call the word nonprofit are for-profit entities with tax exempt status.
It's just easier to call a nonprofit.
We just all call it right. We just become. It's just it's just the zeitgeist nomenclature, whatever you want to call it. It's just we're used to saying nonprofit because the point isn't to make a profit. It's that, the point is that the profits are used for the communal good, whatever the communal good or whatever the good of the tax exempt company is.
Right.
You only get
that just to make money, per se.
And so it'd be like again for Happy Holler Project, we made money off of Hollaroo, and we spent that Hollaroo money on Happy Holler to make it a nicer place. Murals is the goal. We're trying to get murals done with our proceeds from Hollaroo. And then next year's Hollaroo will get more murals. And then the Hollaroo after that, we're going to do, I really, really, really want to do, and this is my full pipe dream version of it. I want to do that Vegas thing. What's that street in Vegas?
It has the big kind of like lit up canopy.
That thing.
LEDs are getting cheaper.
No. I mean, it's only probably like $15, $20 million. I mean, the other one too, like I don't know. This goes back to I had a whole conversation. I was trying to explain Metro to my kid. I need to get back on Metro. I need to run for fucking mayor. Just be my treasurer. Do the paperwork for me.
I'm not good at paperwork.
But Chris Davis will walk you through it. He'll teach you how to do it.
That's true.
He'll teach you how to take care of the paperwork part of it. I'll give you all the receipts. You just do that part of it, and I'll run for mayor. My platform for mayor is Metro, Build Baby Build, and Light Rail.
Build Baby Build.
I don't care. If you want to build something, fucking build it. Jesus Christ, what are we talking about? Like, I do have some zoning requests. I do want to do my my Everything's on Stilts program on the major thoroughfares. But that doesn't matter if I'm county mayor because all the major thoroughfares are city property anyway.
Right.
Like I really do. I drive around every day. I drive around and I look at like all this stuff and I look at everywhere I look. I just like, this is so stupid. Like I understand it from like a construction standpoint. It's more expensive. But good God, like right here, the Morel at the mall, that whole thing. Like that whole thing, like the mall. We'll just take the West Town Mall, the only mall we have in Knoxville anymore. That whole property is like 12 acres. 9 of it is parking lot.
It stays relatively full. Well, I can't say I drive by it that often anymore.
No, it doesn't. It's like that lot. The lot will get packed out during Christmas. When they have I like that they do stuff in the lot from time to time. Like I would love them to keep a section of the lot open air for the different fairs and circuses and stuff that they bring in. That's because I think that's kind of cool, fun little add-on.
I think they were doing like what the Cars and Coffee thing.
Cars and Coffee goes on. They had that last weekend, I think. Because I saw a bunch of stupid cars driving around. And so like I'm not opposed to having some amount of open air parking lots, but like if you took the mall and put it on stilts, 90% of that parking lot could be underneath that mall.
And your car would stay cool.
Yeah, your car would stay cool. Or stay dry. You don't have to get an umbrella out to get to and from your car. Or it would stay warmer when it's cold outside.
Well, you've got the parking garage on the back.
Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying though. It's like, and again, like it's already existing. I'm not trying to say they need to change it, but like I would be like, I would figure out some tax exempt stuff or whatever I could do to be like, hey, Simon, build a layer. Just build a layer of stuff on top of your parking lot. Keep your parking lot as is and build more stuff on top of it. Figure it out.
What would you add to it though?
I don't know. More shops. Another shopping center.
I'm surprised the mall has kind of gone on as long as it has. And a lot of malls and a lot of places have kind of closed down.
It's holding on tight. It's surviving. Barely.
I haven't walked around it in a while.
We went a little bit ago. I mean, they're like, I don't know. There's nothing like it's. I don't know. I'm curious. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that. Well, actually, like part like the big like I mean the reality like is online shopping. I mean, online shopping is murdered.
Right.
Brick and mortar retail, period. But like I don't understand the strip malls that are so prevalent being like, like one of the things about the mall that I think is the problem is like there's no small business in the mall. There's a few, but not many.
Right.
Like that's the thing about the mall is that it's expensive. You've got to be a pretty big player to get space in the mall. You don't.
That's why you get little kiosks.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You have kiosks of weird little mom and pops and stuff like that. But like, to have even just like I don't know, like my friend BJ who runs Retrospect. That'd be a great shop in the mall. Holy shit. That would be a great shop in the mall. But the square footage he needs to do what he does and the cost of that in the mall comparatively
right.
is like 15 times what he's paying in Happy Holler.
There's a handful of small units, but yeah, most of them are a decent size.
Well, but he needs the space. I'm just saying he needs the space. Like his whole thing is he has the craziest, most diverse retro flea market stuff that you're like. He's got record players and like a whole record section. He's got like classic 70s and 80s UT merch and T-shirts and stuff like that. He's got weird clothes from all over the place. He's got all the little knickknackies like candlestick holders and plates and flatware, like the most random. Like it's a crazy. Like he has a whole poster section, where it's just boxes of posters and all these weird, crazy old posters from all of these old movies and bands and all sorts of crazy stuff. Like that's his thing, and so he needs space. He's probably like 5,000 square foot in his place. Damn. And then he has a basement that has a whole bunch more stuff that he doesn't have room for upstairs that you can't shop in his basement, but that's where his storage is, and he brings it up as he can.
Right.
You know, and put a 3,000 square foot, for him to put a 3,000 square foot thing in the mall would be just redonkulous.
You have to raise some prices.
Yeah. And it's just not a functional working thing. You know, like you don't what is it called? Thrift store? Not thrift store. It's not a thrift store. What's the word for that kind of place?
Secondhand?
Maybe. You know, like that kind of thing couldn't function.
Collectibles?
Yeah, couldn't function in a mall space.
Yeah.
I mean, it can function in most of West Knoxville. Like you've got the Plato's Closet, but that's a modern secondhand store.
Right.
You know, I don't know. It's weird, but again, moral of the story is like he just can't. Like, you know, it's like. But I think it would do well. I think we'd have the ability to do okay if he could afford the rent, because it's a cool place. I still think the concept of the mall is great. I just don't.
It doesn't bring a lot into one place.
I don't like people.
That's why they can charge you that much more. It's like, you realize how many like foot traffic we're bringing by you? Just because people are going to this store and another store, they're going to walk right by your other store.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, well, you put us all together. That makes people feel better about window shopping than just ordering online.
True.
I mean, I don't like doing that, and we did it. Little man wanted some Yeezys. It's like, you're spending your own money on it. And he went into the shoe place that had Yeezys and tried them on. And he's like, yeah, but I can get them over here for this much. It's your money, man. You do what you want.
Yeah.
And it was a big enough number that I was like, okay, that's worth doing.
Yeah.
Like, generally speaking, I'm like, just buy it from the guy. But it was like 60% cheaper.
Damn.
Well, I think he bought fake ones too, but
yeah, I was about to say, he's sure they're real.
He ain't believing me when I tell him that he's got knockoffs, but
they look good enough. I mean, knockoffs are big money in a lot of places.
Who gives a shit? Like,
most people aren't looking at it that closely. You know, it looks like a Coach purse or whatever.
Well, and it's like you're wearing them. You're walking around in them. They're all scuffed up. They're shoes.
Not if you take care of them. That's one thing I never understood was, like, you know, the high-end sneakers and having like a large selection and trying to keep them really. I have that same thought as well. It's like, well, you just not wear them out, or make sure you stay on like sidewalks and like clean asphalt the whole time.
They've got I saw a thing. There's a company that's making genius pennies, cost pennies to make. They're selling for like $10 a pair. It's a crease killer is what they call it. And it's like a little thing you slide into the shoe above your, like, above the bridge of your foot, so that when you walk, you can't bend your toes, so that it won't bend the shoe and crease your shoe.
I think that'd be bad for your posture. And
it's terrible. But it keeps your kicks are fly, buddy.
All right. I think it's advertising for, like, you know, cool things that are out there, whatever, new tech, and they're basically like these transparent boxes that you keep your shoes in, but they also like have the ability to like steam clean them and like deodorize them and clean them and whatnot.
That's fun.
But then they're all like stackable, so you can have like, you know, your big grid of all your nice shoes.
We have some. Well, he's got some of those that are just display boxes that he keeps his shoes in.
Right. That's basically what these are. But they also have a second.
They don't do anything fun. They just are there. But they're like magnet stackable and stuff. Like he finally got his thing. Oh, that's a weird story. So for his birthday, he got a bunch of money and gift cards and stuff from his friends. He pulled it all up and he bought this $450 Transformer, like Transformer action figure toy. I don't even know what you call it. Like,
it's a collectible,
right? It's a model, but it's not a model like you build a model. It's a model collectible figure or whatever. $450, ordered from China or whatever. His birthday's in May. He got it today.
Yeah.
And he was so excited and so happy, and it was like just one of those heart melting. Like he was so like I was like, hey dude, like it was on the front porch when I came back from running errands today. I looked at it and I looked at the label on it. It had his name on it, and I was like, oh shit, it's finally here. Because we had some Amazon stuff coming too, and I thought it might have been that when I first saw the box. But then when I saw his name on it, I was like, whoa. And so I came in, I put his room, I was like, dude, it's here. And the joy on his face, it was just made my heart melt. His money, he spent his money on it. He's really kind of excited about it, how happy with it. He said in passing that it was worth the wait. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I'm so proud of you. I'm glad you enjoy it. But man, I would have lost my shit. I would have been full Karen on these motherfuckers a month ago.
Good road overseas in general can still take like a good month or so.
I want tracking showing me that exactly when and where it's going to be here. And if it is not here by this date, you're going to send me my money back, and you're still going to send me this motherfucker. I am done. It has been May, June, almost all of July.
Did they give him an estimate when he ordered it? No.
Nope. It was in Chicago for like 2 months.
Shit.
There's a big port in Chicago. Because the U.S. port system, the way it works, like there's stuff that comes in on a boat, hits L.A. Long Beach, gets picked up off the boat, thrown on a train. That train goes to Chicago, goes through customs in Chicago. So it was sitting in U.S. customs in Chicago for 2 months. So it took about a month to get to Chicago, and then 2 months for Chicago customs to release it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to play with the collectible for a little while.
I mean, it's still in the box and fresh and gonna look good, whatever.
Right.
If they did, I couldn't tell. But anyway,
those guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They play with stuff like that every day.
Yeah, fair enough. But like he was so excited about it, and it's like, whew, I couldn't do it, man. But I'm glad you're happy.
You could always do kind of like the TSA does, where they put the piece of paper in there, like your bag got searched en route. You're like, did you put everything back in? You folded everything up all nice.
We never imply ownership of the dildo. We always refer to it as the dildo, not your dildo. Fight Club? No.
It's been a while.
No. It's great quote. Anyway, what did I say? So, a lot of city election stuff going on this week. Grand Flora pilot. Some guy is going to build some venue in East Knox, and he's getting a pilot to build that. Oh, the U.S. Bank building's for sale. That's fun. You got like $10 million we can borrow?
Not on me.
The new Barbarian Production Studios building at the 7-story U.S. Bank building with a 3-story parking garage attached.
It's prime realty.
It is. It's weird. Like you never think about it. Like those stuff like that is never on the market. Like purchases and sales happen all the time, but they're never market.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never see them listed. So this is a rarity that it's listed because the seller isn't trying. Usually, it's like one of those you own some. It's apparently some hedge fund guy that owns it out of Minnesota or something like that. Generally you kind of have like a low key, like, hey, if anybody wants to buy it, or usually it's somebody approaches you wanting to buy it more than it is you're trying to sell it.
Right.
Like people that own buildings like that. So for it to get to the point where this guy's just like, I just want to sell it. I don't care if anybody's looking for it or not.
It could just be trying to drive up the price. The more people that know about it, the more bids you may get.
Maybe. I don't know. He only paid like $4 million for it.
But he originally bought it, or he was a recent purchaser of it?
He bought it from U.S. Bank, because U.S. Bank got bought by somebody else, and in that process, they sold that at a $7 million loss. It was $11 million. It was $11 million value on the books for U.S. Bank when they sold it to this guy for $4 million.
Damn.
So realistically, it's probably going to be a $10, $15 million sale.
Yeah.
But it's also office. It's an office building. I don't see anybody buying it. And apparently trying to convert it into living space is not cheap. So
I think it's a local story that was talking about a lot of basically out of state tech startups were coming in, or relocating to Knoxville. for one reason or another.
Yeah, I mean, Axel would have bought it if it was on the market a couple years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm interested, curious to see who wants to jump in there. I don't know. Like it's weird. Downtown's weird. Like it's only like a 5-story building, which is tall for downtown.
It's tall for one of the taller buildings, but I may be thinking of different.
It might be 7 stories. 7 stories.
Is that the one that has like a little like cafe like outdoor in front of it? Like the corner of like Gay and a super steep street?
Oh, no, that's the First SC building.
No, it's a little bit further down. It's closer, I guess, maybe like a block away on the... or no, it's like maybe a couple doors down from the First Tennessee building.
That's BB&T.
Is that BB&T?
Which is now Truist building.
No.
No, U.S. Bank's on the other side of Market Square. Like it's on the northwest side of downtown.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen it. I just can't picture it.
Yeah, it's just a boring square building. It's like gray concrete with glass for every floor or whatever. It's not full glass, if I recall correctly.
They got windows.
Yeah, but the Grand Flora one it's an old church that this guy bought, and he wants to turn it into a rock, just a general venue. Where did it go? I had a picture of it somewhere. Apparently, Mr. Larson is about to bring a significant financial conversation to County Commission on the GOV Detention Center budgeting something or other with his transition something. That meme.
He wants to add more money to it?
Apparently they need more money. I don't know what it is. I shouldn't speak on that. I don't really have any clue what's going on with that. But this goes back to this meme. Beautiful meme. Wonderful meme. Greatest meme maybe ever created. Good old-fashioned Scooby-Doo stuff. And the big reveal at the end where you rip the mask off the bad guy and find out who it is. And it's a well-done one. I mean, it's well done in the meme sphere. It's a red elephant head with Larson J's campaign sign stuck to it. And what's the kid's name?
That was Freddy.
Yeah, Freddy from Scooby-Doo is ripping the mask off, and he rips off the elephant mask, and there's a donkey head underneath. Because Larson J is a Democrat. Remember what I said? I feel like I told you this. Like this shouldn't have been a surprise to you when I shared this meme with you.
I think we've talked about it.
Yeah, the entirety of this campaign is going to be the Republicans at large, Betsy Henderson specifically, just calling Larson a Democrat. He's not a Republican. He's not a Republican. He's not a Republican. And I don't know. He might not be a Republican. I don't really care, personally. But that's what this campaign is going to be about. And Larson, to win a primary, is going to struggle. He's won countywide races before. Like everybody that I've talked to feels like he's pretty good in pretty good shape, considering. But this is the effective messaging that works on the local level stuff.
True.
And Larson,
if you say it loud enough and enough times.
And Larson's got to figure out how to answer that question. Because if he tries to say, no, I'm a Republican, I don't know that works. Because the big difference for Larson is he has a record. Betsy Henderson does too, at some level, but what little record she has is school board. And, it's probably good enough to the right side of stuff for Betsy Henderson's actual voting record on school board that she should be fine. That nobody can really attack her on this set of things, right, or on this style of attack. Larson can't say it. Larson can't be like, well, she's not a real Republican. Here, let me point out one of those things that she's voted on that's hippie leftist bullshit. Larson's got a track record that he can't deny it. Like he cannot deny it. I don't know about the one that you sent about him being apparently pro virtual meetings, which that could
certainly he was like one of the early proponents of it. I want to say this was pre-pandemic. It went back to, I think someone had some kind of like foot infection, but like it made it to where the county commissioner wasn't able to participate basically in the commission meetings.
I could get on board.
That was the start of which I think it said they've passed it, or maybe they've just proposed the idea.
I don't think they've passed it because there's been recent meetings where people are missing because they're on vacation or whatever.
Yeah. No, they're considering virtual attendance option.
This is from July 2025. It's in the story.
Yeah, it was a new story, but
posted. It was updated on July.
But a few paragraphs down, it talks about him was one of the early proponents, going back to a particular commissioner, I guess, that had to miss it for medical reasons.
State law doesn't allow it, so it doesn't really matter.
But we have home rule. Don't we?
Woogie. If you say so, friend. All right, so this is from WATE, Channel 6 News on your side. Knox County considers virtual attendance option for commissioners by Matt Hollingsworth. This is on July 23rd. Knox County Rules Committee is considering a rule change that would allow commissioners to sometimes attend meetings virtually during extenuating circumstances. It all started because of a knee infection a few years ago. Commissioner Daly had after a knee replacement that prevented him from attending meetings, according to Commissioner Jay. But with the online tools available, surely they would be able to accommodate, Jay thought. He soon learned, however, that state law does not allow it. Jay thought this needed to change, so he worked with Tennessee senators and reps to write a law allowing counties to decide for themselves if their commissioners could attend their meetings virtually during the extreme circumstances. The law took 3 years to pass and went into effect July 1 of this year. The proposed rule change would allow commissioners to participate and vote electronically if they are dealing with a family or medical emergency, or they have been called into military service, or they can't attend due to inclement weather. A quorum of members must still be present in person to have the meeting, with no more than 20% participating online. Members can only participate online twice a year. There are other restrictions as well.
So I guess a law was passed to allow them, and I guess they've got to consider whether or not they're going to take advantage of it.
They would have to do the ordinance change to put it into the Rules Committee for Knox County Commission.
Put it into the county charter, I guess.
Would have to put it to a commission-wide vote. So they would have to pass it in the Rules Committee, and then put it to the commission at large. I don't think it would have to be a charter change, because charter change would require a ballot initiative.
Okay.
It would have to be a countywide vote, which may actually need that. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I don't like it. The extenuating circumstance, I don't know.
It seems pretty limited, and you only can do it twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, well, that's fine. Whatever, do it. I can't complain about the idea of that. I think the inverse. I think the correct reply to that is they need to set up a virtual. If a commissioner is allowed to attend virtually, then so is a constituent. And attend virtually isn't watching it on CTV. Attend virtually would be inside a Zoom meeting of some sort where you can interact. You know what I'm saying?
Do you get to interact much at a county commission meeting? I know they have like an open forum.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is that if commission's allowed to attend virtually, then I'm allowed to attend virtually as well. And if I sign up to speak, I can speak virtually twice a year.
I would think they would have to apply the same rules to you, to where it would have to be an extenuating circumstance to allow you to do that.
Okay. That's fine. I'm good with it. And I can only do it twice a year.
And if you were scheduled to talk in front of the beer board or whatever, but then you had a medical emergency,
I'm good with it. I agree with you. The same set of situations apply. I have a reason that I need to do it virtually, and I can't come in person.
Right.
I should be able to do that. Like that. That'd be my compromise in it. Is okay, as long as I can use the same. As long as I can use the same method you can, for the same reasons, then okay. Yeah.
That makes some sense.
Now, the question is, how much does that cost?
Sure.
Because, they're systematically, I don't know that they have the systems in place to do that. because they would have to host this. I mean, I don't know. It's just to host a Zoom meeting, and you can host a Zoom meeting. A paid Zoom meeting is not that expensive. If you had to have a professional, a pro Zoom account, it's not super expensive. That you can have up to like 10,000 like participants. Like you can have a crazy number of people in the room in a Zoom meeting. And if it's a paid Zoom, if you have a paid Zoom membership, then you have unlimited time. Sort of. You have limited. Actually, I don't know. I was actually looking at the billing stuff not that long ago. It can get expensive really quick for all the different features that are available in Zoom.
Right.
Because you would have to. That's the other question. Does it have to be recorded? Would CTV? Well, I don't know. Does it need to be recorded by law currently? Like the CTV exists. But would the CTV recording be good enough if the CTV includes the input from? Because you could do that easy. CTV guys could do it. They could link that into the system where, if I'm on the virtual screen, I'm on the screen, whatever kind of thing.
Probably yeah.
In the room, because they just have cameras. They have the PTZ cameras sitting in the room that they just do all. They're not even there physically.
Right.
That's a live feed.
The view almost looks like a security camera that's like sitting in the ceiling. That's usually pretty far off.
Yeah, and that's a PTZ camera too. So remotely,
I don't know that word.
PTZ is a pan tilt zoom.
Okay.
And so that camera is one of those ball cameras.
Right.
And so remotely, somebody, I don't know who, can turn that camera any direction they want and zoom it in and zoom it out. So like if on a city council meeting, if American Cannon's giving a speech, they can zoom right in so American Cannon's whole head is the screen.
I think I have seen those shots, yeah.
And they can zoom it back out, and you can have a couple of those around the room and switch between them. You can actually put a pretty good production together with one of those. I was wanting to get one of those for in here. They're not super expensive.
Yeah.
The computing power is the problem. Well, the problem is the format of the show. Our show wouldn't work functionally. Compass show wouldn't have worked functionally. That was my problem with trying to get one of those. Like I like the idea of it, but I couldn't figure out functionally why I would need one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did a 2-camera show when I did the Compass show visually.
Right.
I had one Scott's camera, one Jesse's camera. Split the screen in half and had Scott and Jesse on each half of the screen because that's what else do you need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had it set up that I could switch between the Jesse only camera or the Scott only camera. But that's your vape.
It's weird.
Yeah, mine does it too. It looks kind of weird though if Scott's talking and I have him only on the screen because he's always looking at Jesse, and so he's looking across the camera.
Mm-hmm.
It always came off weird if I tried to do a single screen of them, so I just kept them both on the screen. And so they were both looking in towards each other. Like in the room, they were looking almost straight at each other. But on the camera, they were just kind of leaned in at like a 45 towards each other.
Right.
That's how I set that up. But, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not opposed to the premise, but I think if that's the rule, then everybody gets to play by that rule. And everybody, I mean everybody.
There probably is some kind of rule that commission meetings have to be publicly available. That's probably why they have those CTV.
Yeah. They're supposed to be
contract.
They're supposed to be doing a festival. I need to follow up with him.
CTV?
Yeah, we're going to do a live podcast from their festival, me and you.
Oh, didn't know this.
It's next summer, so we got time.
Okay.
Do you not want to do it? It'd be fun.
Rather not.
I don't want to do Scott's podcast. I don't get to talk as much. Or maybe I do, because then I won't get myself in trouble with an audience.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't really care. Like I'm kind of at that point where I kind of want to. I'd like to get better at it, because that's the one thing that's really holding me back from trying to run for mayor. Like realistically, I don't want to do it. The money would be good, but like I don't really want it. I don't like. There's nothing I want about it, and I have a very specific subset of things that I care about that probably I'm not universally in agreement on, and especially the political people don't give a shit about what I think about any of this stuff. Another thing that I like, nobody on the politics side of things wants Metro. I think it is the correct thing to do. I think for Knox County citizens, if I could go around and talk to enough people and explain to them what it would mean for them and why it's a good idea, I think most people would agree with it, but they don't care about it because it's politics, because it doesn't make politics sense. They're not going to vote for it.
Think so?
Yeah, because I'm not.
You can make it make sense, but you still don't think they would want it.
Right, because I'm not a Republican.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because I'm not. I mean, that's just it. It's not a Republican thing. I mean, it's not a Republican thing to do. It's a fucking Democrat thing to do anyway. Well, I can make the Republican argument for the Metro. I can't make a Republican argument for a light rail. I can make the Republican argument.
Republicans got to get from point A to point B too.
I can make the Republican argument for my build baby build thing. I can't make a. I can't make a Democrat argument. Well, I can make a Democrat's argument for the build baby bill. Probably I had to think about it for a little bit. But again, if I want to win Knox County, I got to be a Republican anyway, and I can't be a Republican. And I know one person who's going to make sure that I don't put an R behind my name, and that's going to be Eric Wader. He's going to make sure, and I don't blame him, and he shouldn't. And I mean, the party shouldn't let me run with their banner because I'm not a fucking Republican.
Right.
They can't define what that is, so I guess I could. Because there's no fucking rules here. Like, the rules are made up anyway.
Don't you have to, pull enough Republican ballots in consecutive elections or something?
Right. I'm not a Republican because I pulled the Democratic primary in 2020.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a Republican. Because that's on record. I don't know why I did that. I do know why I did that. I know exactly why I did that. Because Trump was already a Republican nominee. What's the point of going into that primary and...
Oh, was that why you did it?
I think so.
I thought it was a more local thing.
No, because it's the Republic. Like it was Super Tuesday. The only thing on Super Tuesday for us is that there is no state or local primary to go with it, because that's in fucking March. The county primary isn't until August. No, sorry, the county primary isn't until May. The county general is in August.
I vaguely remember.
And so the 2020 primary on Super Tuesday, because I wanted to go, and the Republicans were going to do Trump no matter what, and I probably did Tulsi, if I'm honest. If I'm remembering correctly, I probably voted for Tulsi because she hadn't lost her fucking mind yet.
She running Democrat at that time?
Yeah, because she torched Kamala in one of those debates.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And I mean, Tulsi wasn't. Tulsi was anti-war. At least rhetorically, she was. I've been to war. I was a medic, and I've seen my friends die, and I've tried to stitch them back together, and I've seen how terrible their lives have been since, and I'm tired of making veterans. Like, that was where she was at the time. And I was on board with that. I was like, I would like that to be if I'm gonna have to if I'm gonna have to make the choice between this weird Trump guy who's at least sort of rhetorically anti-war and Tulsi, that'd be a fun one to have that see which one of them's actually that'd be that would have been a fun one to see in a general election.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't anybody else again, there was nobody on the Republican side that had a shot. DeSantis kind of shot his shot and failed miserably.
Sure, I thought Jeb Bush was doing okay in the 2016.
No, well, hold on, no, that was the 16. I'm misremembering.
20.
Right, this is 2020. Trump was the nominee because he was the sitting fucking president.
Right.
I wanted to vote, so my vote mattered. Because the Republican primary is irrelevant. We have a sitting president who is not being primaried by anybody. Like, nobody was even trying to primary him. There was two random crazy people.
Yeah, I thought there was a couple, but yeah, no.
But there was no primary, and so it's we live in this weird state of Tennessee that lets me pick which primary ballot I want to pick up on the day of. I want to pick up the one that I actually could make a functional difference in the world. Because picking up a Republican made no difference at the time. It was going to be Trump.
Right.
Picking up the Democrats one made a difference at the time because at the time, at least for Super Tuesday, I mean, Biden wasn't even really a serious contender on Super Tuesday. He had just kind of made the mix because at that point, he was Buttigieg.
I can't remember him.
Yeah, it was Pete Buttigieg because Pete won the Iowa and then he went to New Hampshire and did well. I think Biden won New Hampshire, but he's Delaware. We figured it was that locality thing, and so it was kind of a Pete and no, I don't think it was. Who was it? It was who was the lady from Minnesota?
Klobuchar.
Yeah, I think Klobuchar did what. Pete won Iowa, we think, and Klobuchar I think won New Hampshire. And then it was the South Carolina primary that was part of Super Tuesday. That was the big one for Biden, was winning the Carolinas, or one of the Carolinas.
Yeah.
Because that means he had the black vote. And that's what took Biden to the top of the ticket. And so, logically, because I want my vote to mean something, I picked up a Democratic primary, and so now I can't run as a Republican for at least 10 more years or something like that.
As if you wanted to have an R after your name anyway.
Right, which I don't. Well, I don't know. It depends. Do I want to win?
Yeah.
Then I want to have an R after my name.
Sure.
You know,
I wanted to metaphorically have the R after your name.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna wear I'm gonna wear a rhinoceros mask, but I might do it anyway. Like, if I'm gonna do it, if you'll do my paperwork, I'll do it. I will go out and I'll collect my 25 signatures, and I will submit it to Chris Davis, and I will put an R after. I will say I'm running as a Republican, and then we will make posters that have a rhinoceros on it, and we'll put those posters out around town, and I will let their party kick me off the ballot. And I will go and I will start my run for mayor as a Republican, and I will make Eric and Betsy and Larson, for that matter, kick me off the Republican primary. But they're going to have to kick me off.
Does that all accomplish what?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, I'll get talked about, and that's the point.
True.
You know, I'll get talked about, and they're like, why are you kicking off the ballot? Because, and I mean, just because of the conversation we just had. I got kicked off the ballot because they say I'm not a Republican, because the rules say, because in 2020, when there was a primary election that the Republican side had nothing to vote for, I decided to pick up the Democrats one so that I could put a more reasonable challenger in play for the general. I mean, I could even spin it.
That means you're anti-Trump. That means you're not a Republican.
I could even spin it and be like, well, I wanted to pick some idiot that Trump would beat every time. I wanted to see if I could help I wanted to see if I could help Trump by putting a worse Democrat against him.
Right.
Which I failed at because I didn't pick Biden. I should have picked Biden because he was the worst Democrat. But whatever. I could spin it that way. I'm on record now, so it doesn't really matter. But I could try to play that spin game, but it doesn't matter. The Republican. To be fair, if I were a Republican in Knox County, I wouldn't want me running under their banner either. And they have a bylaws rule on how to make sure I don't. But I would like to make them do it. Fucking do it. You got the rules. Play by your rules.
Dust off that rule book and let's play.
Kick me out. And then go explain to people the rules. And then when it comes back to me and Don Dare or whoever comes and talks to me about it, and I'm telling them why I tried to run as a Republican is because I believe in these values and these values and these values, and from what I understand, that's what Republicans are. And they have some silly bylaw about this, that, and the other because they don't want me to run against whatever. And that's that. But again, I would get interviews and I'd get airtime because of it would be a whole subset of storyline of me getting kicked off the ballot, which would be good for me because then I would immediately just turn into the independent and I would run as an independent. Problem with that.
Would that set back your campaign at all?
Problem with that is that the real end to it is if I run as an independent, I'm on the general election. Democrats will run some idiot. He's not going to do well. Rephrase that. Let me back up. I apologize. The person is not an idiot. They'll run somebody who has no chance of winning. And they'll get some section of the vote. And if anything, I'm going to steal votes from Larson, who is less bad than Betsy. Well, the Larson-Betsy fight will already pass by that. Because they'll have primaried, and then whoever's out of that primary. If Betsy's out of the primary, then Betsy's the new mayor. If Larson's out of the primary, Larson's the new mayor. All right. No, I don't really do any damage to the lesser of two evils game then either. Like, realistically, the best shot of me winning would be I get pushed out, I run as an independent, and everybody that was supporting Larson comes to me because Betsy wins the primary.
Possibly.
And that wouldn't be a small change. That would not be a small amount of people. But how many people are as much as they hate Betsy, are going to vote the R because it's the R.
Yeah.
Or actually, more realistically, people that hate Betsy vote for me because they were going to vote for Larson. But the whole swath of people that have no fucking clue what's going on that show up on election day are going to vote the R. And I still lose. Which is fine. I don't really care. I mean, like I said, I would like to make that $250 a year or whatever that the mayor makes. And I'd like to go on stupid talk shows and talk about fucking Fauci right now, 5 years after the fact. Because my boss's boss's boss wants me to talk about anything but Epstein.
All right.
So, yeah, I could do it. You want me to send you Chris's email so you can get the paperwork?
We'll see.
We got a little bit of time to think about it. All right, let's get weird, friend. I hit the wrong button. How was my pitch, though? My pitch was good.
Let's see here. Yep. Remix.
I held down the wrong button.
I don't know if you saw this story. There was a little leaguer that apparently flipped his bat in celebration after a walk-off home run, which is, I guess, it's against the rules, excessive celebration or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So then I guess the league or the governing body or whatever suspended him for a game. But I guess it actually went to court, and I guess the New Jersey court decided to allow him to play. They lifted his suspension for unsportsmanlike bat flip.
That's dumb.
He was a 12-year-old.
Why does the court have any oversight on this?
I guess the family or somebody sued him.
The rules clearly state. Well, the rules clearly state that the umpire. So was it a post game suspension or was it during the game?
It was a post game suspension, but it was for an additional game.
So it wasn't the umps on the field. It was the league came in and said, "Hey, that was a violation. He's suspended one game."
I believe so. Yeah. No, I guess he was ejected for flipping the bat as he celebrated a home run.
But he still gets the run. The game's over. Yeah, fuck that. That's stupid. Get out of here. What are we doing?
He was ejected, suspended for a game over what his family were told were actions deemed quote-unquote unsportsmanlike and quote-unquote horseplay. The family sought an emergency temporary restraining order that would allow him to play in the New Jersey State tournament that started Thursday. He got one.
That's dumb. Get out of here. You agree. You fill out a bunch of paperwork when you put your kid in this league. One of those sets of paperwork, it probably included acknowledging the rules and how the rules work and what the rules are. This is why the world sucks. This is why the world sucks, because this little league affiliate in some random county in New Jersey has a 736-page policy guide that every family has to get and is supposed to go through and read and accept, because they have to put all this bullshit in writing because they can't just play their fucking game by the rules set. This is stupid. There should be no grounds for this. You agreed to play by the league's rules by playing within that league, and their rules are you can't do this thing. It doesn't explicitly say that this exact action and this many flips, because he flipped it 3 times. The rules don't say how many times it has to flip to count as a bad flip. So, when I see bad flip, it's only a bad flip if it flips 7 times. So I'm going to argue this in court so my kid can keep playing the game. Get the fuck out of here. Your kid was being your kid probably wasn't even being a pretentious asshole about it. Your kid was just playing the game, and this is what the big boys do, and I want to do what the big boys do. This is what I don't even know who a major leaguer is. This is what Aaron Judge does when he hits a home run.
Right.
This is what I'm going to do. Well, the rules clearly state you can't do that. Get the fuck out of here.
Didn't they have it in college football?
They had a celebration. Right. And for a couple of years, they did it, and people got penalties and all sorts of whatever out of it, and people complained about it, and they changed the rules a couple of years later.
And in college, when you score a touchdown, you're supposed to pretty much just drop the ball. You're not allowed to spike it.
No, they're allowed to do it now. They can celebrate.
Right, but when it was.
Right. which and it's a dumb rule, and there's a line somewhere, and the problem is it's subjective. There's a line somewhere where like there's like a tauntingness to it, where you're pointing at the guy you ran over on the way in, give him the finger or whatever. That's
right.
It's like, yeah, but I don't know. Let's grow a pair, and you got beat, and he wants to celebrate that he beat you, and he's going to point at you because he beat you. Big deal. Let's move on. But the idea that the courts need to get involved, I don't know. Like, I have a hard time. I get, like, as you can see, I get rather animated when we have courts coming into sports rules. Because this is stupid. Like, one of the best things, you're like, I'm not a big Bill Belichick fan, but one of the best things about Bill Belichick is he read the fucking rule book. To the point where the league had to change rules because he read the rule book and they couldn't beat him. So they changed the rules. And there's like 3 Belichick rules in the NFL rule book now.
Really?
Because there are rules that he read the rule book, he understood the rule book, and he did things, and everybody was like, he can't do that, that's illegal. And they're like, it's not in the rule book. We don't like that he's doing it, but he's doing it. Read the rule book, understand the game. You don't need the state's attorney getting involved in fucking Little League baseball. This is stupid. This is that same crap about... This is a different version of those parents. This is the same parents. It's a different version of those same parents that are yelling at umpires from the bleachers. Like, there's videos, you've seen videos of those where like parents are jumping on the field and punching umpires and stuff like that. Like, that's the same parent. It's just that the same parent is, I don't accept that my kid did something wrong. Instead of punching you or yelling at the coach or doing something crazy on the field, I'm going to sue your ass.
Yeah.
That's the same parent. And that should be squashed hard. Like, that should be like, like it sucks that you're going to punish the kid, but the kid needs to be punished too. Because apparently that's the only way you get through the parents.
I think the story said that like he did get to play in the next game and went 0 for 2 with like 2 strikeouts.
Good, fuck that kid. I'm gonna be hateful about this kid for the rest of the time. Did they make the series, or are they done? Are they out of the tournament?
Nah, I didn't get that far.
All right. Well, good. Fuck that kid and his parents. Real quick, we forgot the major obit of the 2 major obits this week.
There's 3, kind of.
3. What's the third one?
What was his name? They referenced him a number of times on King of the Hill. He was a flugelhorn player.
Yeah,
had a famous.
I did see that one. Okay,
Mangione, Chuck Mangione.
Yeah. Yep, and Hulk and Ozzy all this week.
Yeah,
it's been a rough week. Not really. I don't know. I
think there was a couple others, but
apparently Ozzy was. I mean, the timing is kind of crazy. It's kind of neat. The Ozzy story is kind of cool.
And he got to do his last concert.
Like, he did that big last concert fundraiser thing for Parkinson's and something else. Raised a bunch of money. A bunch of people came out. Like Tool and
I saw a couple
Black
clips
Label
from it.
And a bunch of other people came out, and they did a big, huge concert. Raised a ton of money. So, that was the last thing he did, and that's pretty fucking awesome. Way to go, dude.
That's what somebody talking about, I guess. I don't think it was an intentional snub, but I guess one of the original guitarists he didn't invite to come up on the Super Jam, or didn't invite him to play on one of the songs.
Yeah. There's a line there where you got that many people. How you do it? Anyway, you got one more. Let's get it done.
Let's see here. We have a man posed as an ambassador and ran a fake embassy, Indian police say.
I like it.
Arrested a man of running a bogus embassy from a rented residential building near the capital, New Delhi, and recovered cars with fake diplomatic plates.
What's his? What was he an embassy for?
Let's see here. According to police, he claimed to have acted as an advisor or ambassador to entities such as Saborga and West Arctica.
I love it. Are those real places?
I don't think so. You think somebody would have questioned that at some point. They're like, wait, where?
That's the genius of it.
I know my geography. I don't think so.
Oh, fuck. I know my geography, too, but we got a Gulf of America and all sorts of name changes going on these days, so who knows? Like, what's South Sudan now?
It's a new country, yeah.
Right, but it's not called South Sudan.
I think it is.
Or is it north? One of them did change. One of them's not.
I thought it was just Sudan and then South Sudan, maybe.
I don't know. There's a couple of there's oft a couple of countries that are mentioned on Jeopardy that I'm like, when did that become a thing?
There's a few that have been formed as of late.
Never heard of that. But you know, like we had recognized borders of the old Sudan. Who approved this new border?
I think there was some kind of vote that happened.
That's a dig.
Okay.
A dig. All right. Anything else, my friend?
I think that's...
Let's get the fuck out of home. All right, we did a podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. We do what we do. We're on Instagram at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, allsagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. We'll be back next week with more crazy, ridiculous nothingness. What we're not going to talk about is the Epstein files, because we went through most of this episode without... I don't know, we might just say it. Can we make it a thing, like part of the intro? You know, it's like, welcome to Almost Agreement.
Release the files.
Show us the files. You could just say that about anything, though. You know, like I could do that about 1,000 different topics. Anyway, Almost Agreement, gmail.com. Area 51, JFK, Epstein. Open them all up. Just open all the books up. Just let's all just go into the headquarters and everybody gets a page and we all read a page and tell each other what we learned. So anyway, Almost Agreement, everybody. Thanks for listening. We're going to keep doing what we do. We hope you hang out and do some stuff with us. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Button.